Self-awareness gets thrown around like it's a personality trait. It's not. It's a practice, and for a lot of people, it's avoided on purpose. Because once you become self-aware, you lose the luxury of pretending. You can't unknow what you now see, and you can't blame what you're repeating. Tonight, we're not talking about healing aesthetics. We're talking about the responsibility, patterns, and the cost of not knowing yourself. If you feel called out, good. That means you're listening. If we ever decide to record what goes on backstage while that show is playing, it is going to be
Baby, because I was over
hello,
here jamming.
hello. Welcome back to another episode of Ashes and Influence. I am Rhythm and Blues, and I've got Symphony in the other box. It's just us today. Coco is away on business. We absolutely wish her well, but we also wish that she was here. Uh,
Yes, yes.
how was your week? Let's start there. How was your week?
This week has been a week. It's been exhausting. I don't usually go to bed till like 11 o'clock at night, but this week I've been in bed by 8:30, like getting up at 5 o'clock. Plus I've been juicing this week. So juicing today is day 9. Today is day 10.
Today
Today
is
is
day
day 10.
10. Today
Today
is
is
day.
the last day of the green juice challenge. So I've been green juicing for the past 10 days, and it's been enlightening. I thought that I was just green juicing to detox, my system, to get rid of some free radicals, cleanse my body down to the cellular level, maybe shed a couple of pounds, but that wasn't my goal. But that was just the inevitable. Um, but wow, all I can say is wow, because there has been such um, an awakening. Um, I feel like I'm in alignment. I feel like I'm in alignment with God, like with purpose, with discovery. Like it's been a joy, but it's been exhausting because there's been a lot of things that came up, which I'll share at some point during the show tonight. But yeah, it's been a week, Tasha.
So 2026 came in like a wrecking ball. We knew it was coming, right? Like we have
Yes.
known 2026 was coming since January 1st, 2025. But there has been absolutely something about 2025 that has come in and has shaken all things up.
Uh-huh.
About a week ago, maybe a little bit more than a week, Coco sent us a video.
Hmm.
Um, and it was a clip. It wasn't even a clip. I think it was the whole damn podcast.
Yeah, it was the
Podcast.
whole show.
Oprah does a podcast. Coco sent us the entire show. I can't say, and maybe we'll ask her next week or when she returns and add it into the show, but I can't say what her purpose was for sending it.
Hmm.
But what I'll tell you, the next morning I woke up. My day starts at 4:30 every morning. I got up, I pushed play on that video, had no idea that it was 45 minutes long,
Right.
but I wasn't leaving the 45 minutes. So Oprah's guest was Iyanla Van Zant. She recently dropped a new book, Spiritual Hygiene. It's not a
Hmm.
guide, but it's a Fix My Life-ish book, but Spiritual Hygiene is the title. I immediately threw that title into my audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
my book queue. And I said to Coco the next morning, I thanked her for sending it to me. Like, it was a powerful video. It
Yes.
spoke to things of my past, my present, and what I see for myself in the future. But I
Mm-hmm.
called her, like, I had to pick up the phone. It was probably before 6 a.m.
Uh-huh.
and just thanking her profusely. And I'm
Yes.
telling like I've added the book to my queue, but I've got another book before it. Um, and I'll read it when I get to it.
Uh-huh.
I push play on that. I push play on that book as soon as I got in my car.
Yes.
I had 2 hours worth of listening to another book. And I said, I'll finish this 2 hours and then I'll start this book.
Yes.
Them 2 hours from that other book, they still waiting for me.
They still waiting.
They still waiting for me. So the video opens with Oprah saying that basically you are not responsible for how someone else gets to where there's going, and you can't save anyone else if you don't first attend to you.
Yes.
The amount of accountability that I felt in that moment, like, is that you? Is that something that you are doing?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it intentionally? Are you doing it unintentionally? Are you doing it because you know both sides, right? You know
Right.
what it feels like to have a mind, heart, and body in total chaos. But you also know the other side where you come to that calm, where you come to that peace, um, and you just want to talk about it. Like, you want to be able to share that
Mm-hmm.
with friends. Like, I'm not talking about random strangers on the street, but with friends. Like, you want to be able to share. And I think my mantra has always been, if I can save another woman
Mm-hmm.
from hitting her rock bottom.
Right.
And I think what Oprah was saying to me in that moment is that whatever their version of rock bottom is, you can talk them to death. They've got to hit that rock bottom.
Right. 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 I totally agree with you.
And so,
Everybody has to have their moment of reckoning.
mhm,
And that rock bottom brings you to that moment of reckoning where you have to now face who you are, discover. It's where you discover who you are. It's where you discover what you're made of. It's just where you begin to take inventory and see what's wrong, what's right, what can stay, what needs to go, what no longer serve you purpose, what's no longer serving you at all, you know, and what you can still utilize and how to move differently. Once you've done that and acknowledged that, you know, and come to terms with it, and now you're accountable for it.
mhm, that's
You
the
never
biggest part.
accept accountability for it,
That's the
for
biggest.
what's, yeah, right, wrong, or indifferent. You got to be accountable.
You're doing or others doing, right? So
Yeah,
accountability is more about self, but if you don't acknowledge that what grandma did hurt me, or
yeah,
what Uncle Jeff did, and I'm just talking about how you be with people, right? If you don't
hmm,
recognize that Uncle Jeff telling me that I wasn't never going to be anything didn't affect you, then
yeah,
you can get to that self accountability
yeah,
because you can't even recognize the way people handled you or
yeah.
mishandled you.
But that's the part of
Fact-
the accountability. I'm not talking about accountability just in terms of your doing. Like, I did something, so I
Mhm,
gotta be hold myself accountable for what I did. No,
mhm,
you gotta hold yourself accountable for the misinformation you were given, the actions of others, and be able to truly acknowledge that something somebody said did hurt me. Something somebody did affect me. And accountability is just that acknowledgement that it happened, you
It
know?
happened and it
Yeah.
affected
And it affected you,
me.
and this is why I act a certain way, or this is why I do a certain thing. Figure out why, the why. A
um,
lot of people don't know their why.
My ex, his saying is find your why, find your way.
Mhm. I
Find
totally
your why,
agree.
find your way.
Yes.
And it's always resonated with me. Um, so when we talk about accountability and uh, living this life for over 45 years, there
Mhm.
is, I think, a certain responsibility in that. What I'll say about this younger generation is they get out and at it much earlier, much
Mhm. Yeah.
excuse me, than we have. And it can only benefit them. It can only benefit them. So they can't affect the generations above them who refuse,
Mhm.
but they have the potential to save 7 generations after them
Yes.
doing the work then.
Yes.
But when you look at people, men and women alike, 40, 40 and up, we set in our ways. We are rigid in so many areas of our lives. And it's hard for us to even consider that our experiences have affected us
Mhm.
in the ways that they have. And
Yeah.
you start to see friendships falling apart. You start to see relationships that can't sustain, romantic, familial, and otherwise.
Yeah.
Folks are not in relationship with their children for one
Mhm.
reason or the other.
Mhm.
For me, that's enough for me to step back and say, hey, I'm the common denominator here.
Mhm.
How am I showing up? How are people receiving me?
Yeah.
And is there anything that I can tweak, improve, make better so
Yes.
that I can have better and be better in relationships? But over 40, that's a tall feat. It's a
Yeah.
tall, and sometimes life has to humble you for you to get to that point. So I can remember being 36. I
Mhm.
was in North Carolina at the time. And this there was this it felt like I was getting ready to overflow.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't quite emotion, like I didn't feel anything in it, but it was like a slow boil.
Mhm.
And it was brewing and it was waiting for me to turn the fire up to high so that it
Mhm.
could bubble over. And it
Mhm.
did.
Mhm.
And when it bubbled over, I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I'm having a heart attack, but I get in my car and I drive
Where you
to
going,
the
twin?
to the emergency
To
room.
the emergency room.
I park the car, walk in the emergency room. Oh my God, y'all, I'm having a heart attack. They
Yeah.
take me back, get my vitals, triage me, get me to a room. Only for me at the hey y'all, I'm so sorry for wasting. All I needed was to calm my ass down. But even after that first visit, they spoke anxiety, right? So
Yeah.
even at the first visit, and they see it in anxiety, I'm like, okay, well, they gave me the medicine. I'm good now. I go home. I wake up the very next morning and I am boiling over again and I'm having a heart attack again. I repeated that cycle
Mhm.
for 7 days. Go
Whoa.
to the hospital, 7 straight days. Go to the ER,
Yeah.
get me a shot of calm down. And it wasn't probably until day 7 that I said to myself, okay, sweetie, something has got to give. You coming
Mhm.
here
Mhm.
these people times, you are racking up medical bills.
Yes.
Is going on. So come to find out, I'm having panic attacks. I don't know what's triggering them, so I don't know how to fix them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it started to affect how I showed up in my marriage,
Mhm.
how I showed up as a mom, and that was my biggest pride there, like
Yeah.
being a mom, being a good mom. It started showing up in the way that I did those things, and I had to step back and say, there is something going on here, and you have to figure out what it is.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
And so I went on a journey. I recounted all my life's events. I had to unpack stuff that I didn't even realize that I had put so far away. I was seeing them in dreams.
Yeah.
I was seeing them in certain other situations. I was feeling it in certain phone calls that I took. Like my body was reacting to certain phone calls with certain family members. And enough was enough. Like that for me
Mm-hmm.
was my rock bottom. And I still couldn't figure it out. So I got into bed.
Yeah.
I got
Yep.
into bed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to.
I remember you saying that.
I didn't want to. So for me, that was my proverbial rock bottom that
Mm-hmm.
sent me on a search of self. And I'm so glad I did it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I agree. I had a similar experience as yours. I was on my way back from San Antonio and on the phone with Coco, and we were having a great conversation. I was just talking, and all of a sudden, I felt this overwhelming urge to cry, and but I wasn't sad. In fact, I was just returning from a great experience, and realizing later that um, I was wounded, and I was self-soothing
mm,
with things, with people, and coming to coming to that moment on the highway where I'm feeling like this overwhelming urge to cry, and I'm explaining it to her. I say, I don't know what just came over me, but I feel like I have this overwhelming urge to cry. I said, and then it went from just an urge to me hyperventilating. And
ugh,
now I can't catch my breath. And I feel like somebody's strangling me. And so she says, pull over to the side of the road. So I pull over to the side of the road, but that wasn't enough. I felt like I was being closed in into my car, like it was a trap. And so I got out of the car and I started walking around this vacant lot, just wringing my hands and shaking my hands and just trying to like ground myself. But I couldn't until I'm on 35, pulled up on the side of the road in a vacant parking lot on my knees.
mm,
And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And I got home and I brushed it off like nothing happened. Like it never even happened. Like it never even happened.
mm,
I got up one in the middle of the night because I heard my son in the kitchen. This was maybe just a couple of days later. And I went to go say something to him. I got out of bed and walked across my bedroom floor, and I went to say something to him. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up in his arms, um, on the floor, and he was saying my name. And
mm.
I'm like, boy, get off me. What you doing? And he was like, Mom, you passed out. And I'm like, no, I didn't. So I didn't want to even own that moment either. So I got up the next morning though, and I called the doctor, and she told me to come in. And I went to the hospital, and went to her office, and they put all these leads all over my body, and gave me a heart monitor and sent me home with it for a week, and told me, to that it was going to monitor me, and then I'll come back and they'll get the results. A whole week of that, 10 days, I think it was. Went back. There's there's nothing wrong with
Ain't
your
wrong with
heart.
your ain't shit wrong with your heart. I've done that too. I've done that too.
There's nothing wrong with your heart, but I was unaware. I wasn't self-aware. I didn't know what was going on into my body, so I chalked it up as something physical, like
Hmm.
not thinking about everything that I was going through at home, everything that I was going through at work, that could have been impacting me.
All
Everything
that
that
you've
I
been through.
Yeah, and I was getting to that. Everything that I've been through in my life and the way I deal with things wasn't working for me anymore. One of those things that didn't serve me anymore. Suppressing things didn't serve me anymore. Where in the past it had worked for me. Don't say
Mm-hmm.
nothing, you know, don't say nothing, or, it ain't gonna do no good if you do say something, they're not gonna believe you, whatever the case may be. So you don't say nothing and you live in that. You learn to live like that. You
Mm-hmm.
learn to survive like that.
Survive is
Um
the word. It's the better word. Absolutely.
right. And and that's what it becomes for you. So um it was hard for me to be like, so, and it's all a lie though. It's all made up, and so you wearing this mask of showing up, and I don't even know that some people are aware of how they show up, that you're showing up in pretense, you're showing up, um not being true to who you are, because you don't even know who you are. You don't
Absolutely.
even know who you would have been without everything that you've endured, everything that happened to you as a child, everything somebody poured into you that wasn't good, that wasn't healthy, everything somebody said to you. So you don't show up, you don't know your authentic self. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, on the other side of my self discovery, it was the one question that I asked everybody who I was in relationship with. It was important for me to know how I show up. Like, how
Uh-huh.
do I, down to my children,
Mm-hmm.
like, I needed to know how they were experiencing me, because whatever I thought, however I felt I was showing up,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't given.
Right.
It wasn't given. And I was trusting people to be honest with me. They all in the same fucking boat as me.
Girl.
No way you can have an honest conversation with me.
No.
You know what I mean?
What
And
you
you
said,
hope
how
as me,
you
how you do anything.
is how you do everything. So if
Every
you're not honest with yourself, if you can't be honest with yourself, how can you be honest with the people around you? Because
um it's
how
a
does that
very
work?
it's a very, very, very fine line, and rescuing yourself has
Mm-hmm.
to be most important. Like, it just has
Mm-hmm.
to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like everybody to be clear. I'd like for everybody to, and I'm saying everybody, and I'm talking about the people that I experience and that experience me. I would like for us to be whole,
Mm-hmm.
but me first. And that's selfish. And it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be.
It's supposed
It's
to be.
supposed. Oh man.
If definitely, if you can't be honest with yourself, it's going to be difficult to be honest with the people around you,
Absolutely.
because even if you're lying about who you are, and then then that's, if you're lying to yourself about who you are, that's who you're going to present to everybody else, because you think that's who they need to see, because you think that's who you need to be.
They better cut it out. They better cut it out. And so earlier this week, let me go back a couple weeks ago, I was in a space and I couldn't quite name it, but I was very, very aware of it, of the relationships that I'm currently cultivating.
Mhm.
I felt like in some of those relationships, either I wasn't showing up as solid as I think I am, and I
Mhm.
absolutely believe that I am a solid person. Like,
Mhm.
what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Some people love it, some people hate it. Either way, I am truly, truly, I've got some room for improvement, but as of
Mhm.
right, you are getting authentic Tasha, and she
Right.
show up everywhere. She don't got no pics. I'm not much of a code switcher. I do the best that I can.
Yes.
I do
Yes.
the best that I can. But I
Yes.
was starting to question the current relationships that I'm in. And I'm like, either I'm not showing up as authentically as I think I am,
Mm-hmm.
or people are playing in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And either for either dynamic, it's time for me to step back, pull back, figure out again how I'm showing up, because just because you did it once don't mean you won't ever have to do it again. This is
Right.
it's a continuum.
Yeah.
And you're always checking to make sure that your awareness is still there, that your acknowledgement is still there.
Yeah. In
Um,
the cyber world, we call that continuous monitoring.
I like this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get into that cyber world. That's what I'm going to do because they talk my language. But yeah, continual
Mm-hmm.
monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always doing that. And then I got a telephone call. It was 5:26 a.m. And I knew when my phone rang, I say, only person that could be calling me at this time of the morning is a person that knows that she is awake.
Yeah.
And I answered the phone, and my friend was on the other line. And I say, good morning. I greet her the way that I greet her every time,
Uh-huh.
loud, obnoxious. And she says to me, she says, Rhythm, I called you last night. And I immediately go to my phone to see if I'd missed some calls. And she said, no, in my dream, I called you. And so
Mm.
now, whatever I'm doing, I think I was fixing my hair at the time. I completely stopped because I know this conversation is a different morning conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't go into it. If Symphony wants to, she can. But at the end of that conversation, um, what I gathered from that conversation that I was absolutely right to step back and to evaluate, but the confirmation that I
Mm-hmm.
received in that phone call,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't know what that conversation did for me. Like she knew that I had questions that I was trying to answer,
Mm-hmm.
but to the extent
No.
that I was trying to get those answers for. So that conversation for me this morning, and that conversation, 5:26 in the morning, it included snot, check.
Yeah.
It included tears, check. Um, it- but it also involved laughter and understanding. And I am still so appreciative of the
Yes.
call. And I think that would lead us into like right now where you are. Do you think that you are more self-aware, or is it just more defensive?
I think definitely more self-aware. In the past, it would have been more defensive when I address situations. And I have two scenarios I'm gonna share with you. The first one, just being able to, during this self-awareness, this awakening, just being able to call you and say those things to you. Um, Starting with the revelation in the dream, and how
Hmm.
I called on you in the dream, and how you were you, even in my dream. That immediately when I called you and showed you my hair in the dream, you began to just pump me up, lift me up. Yes, that's it. I love that. Turn around, sis. Let me see. Girl, you are working. And just, it was just like, I was just cheesing, like in the, I felt so seen. I felt so acknowledged. I felt like I had a team, like somebody was on my side, like they were rooting for me. Like almost like you was in a pageant or something. That's what it felt
Mm,
like. And
mm,
everybody's clapping for you and applauding you. And So I began to tell you how in the real world, how you do that, how you show up for me, and how you inspire me, how you allow me to be myself, and open up to you and give you uh not just reciprocate, but to initiate it. I want to initiate it because I've always been one to give you what you give me, you know,
Mm,
but I want to now during this self-awareness, I'm free to initiate it, you know, even if you haven't said it to me, if I feel it, I want to say it to you.
yeah.
So that was different for me because I didn't grow up. I heard you say in past conversations, you know, just in passing, that you had women in your life, you know, that did that for you, that you
Mhm.
looked up to and you wanted to and be like, and they inspired you and everything. And so you learned to model them. And that just blessed me because, but it also was a double-edged sword because I felt like I didn't have that, you know, I didn't
Mm.
have those type of women that I wanted to model my life after or my behaviors after, you know. So yeah, and to be able to tell another woman, this is what I get from you, this is the way you make me feel when I'm around you. um you know, so I appreciate that. I appreciate Rhythm, and I appreciate who you are. So absolutely. And you know, if there's any women out there who have women in their lives, share that with them the
Yeah,
way that
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It is, and I try more, I do it with my peers, of course, but younger women,
Mhm.
because if you're saying that in our age range, it wasn't a common practice,
Mhm.
I can't imagine what it's like for that generation under us.
Right.
So even if you are throwing shade or not being your best self, I'm never going to meet that energy,
Mhm.
especially a young woman. Not going
Mhm.
to do it. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to give you some words that you're going to think about maybe not for another week from now.
Mhm.
But when you encountered that woman, and when I tried to give her something different, and this is what she gave to me in return,
Uh-huh.
and maybe you'll do it for somebody else. Shout out to Miss Alberta, shout out to Miss Scott, shout out to Miss Catherine, Nana, Miss Janie. Um, they were the pillar of my neighborhood, my grandmother,
Thank you to
my
them women.
thank you to them women. Thank you to women. And so I proposed that because when I first started questioning what was going on, like I had to pull myself out so not to get defensive. Like I wanted
Mhm.
to sit with the awareness
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
because I was, and then I needed to figure out what to do with this awareness. Like, am I having conversations? Am I just pulling back like a older version of me?
Uh-huh.
And I'd have been okay with it.
Right. Right.
But I value the friendships
Yes.
I've made here. So I had to figure out, and that conversation on that day, even knowing and being comfortable in how I
Mhm.
show up and who I've been or who I
Mhm.
am to people,
Mhm.
like sometimes things still have to be called into account. Like, what can
Yeah.
I be doing? I am I in relationship with her the way that she needs me to be?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the thing, like even in romantic relationships, you can love me, but if you're not loving me the way that I need to be loved, how it feels
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. It feels like you're not being loved.
Yeah, yeah,
It
at
feels
all,
like it feels like you're not being loved, you
at
know.
all.
And I like even and I can relate to that even in relationship with people with romantic relationship, you know, they're loving you the way they want to love you
Their
or the way
capacity,
they know how to love you. They
their
don't
capacity.
even know, but that's where it comes into play where you have to deal with the person that you're in relationship with according to knowledge. The Bible says deal with your spouse according to knowledge, according to what you know about that person.
Mm,
So if you're not getting to know them, if you're not getting to know them and then loving them the way they're telling you they want to be loved or they need to be loved, then you're doing yourself and them a disservice. Because, baby, if you love that woman or love that man the way that they require, and you have the capacity to do it, you'll see them folks unfold and open
Listen,
up to you.
listen.
And
It ain't nothing she won't. It ain't nothing he won't.
it
Period.
nothing they won't.
It's
It will
nothing
be
they won't.
nothing they won't. Because, baby, love me the way I want to be loved. Love me the way I need to be loved. And you won't
Love
regret
me
it.
enough to find out.
Yes. Yeah. Because you got to start
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
start there, with interest. You gotta show me that you even interested in me enough to be able to do that, because that'll let me know whether you interested enough. And I might not feel like, if you ain't willing to do that, then maybe you just not interested enough.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. So
gotta go deep.
we talk about looking at yourself in a
Uh-huh.
mirror and deciding who you want to be
Mm-hmm.
and who you want to be to other people that you're involved with. And I feel like that takes a level of self honesty
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
that
It does.
most people aren't ready for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Uh I when you really start on this journey of becoming self-aware, um what's going to be revealed to you, and I say revealed because not everything, when you go digging, you don't know exactly what you're going to find. And sometimes those things that you find will surprise you. And then once you realize that you've been responding to people, showing up to people from that space, meaning like from that traumatic space, you've been responding in anger, you've been responding in frustration, you've been responding in hurt, you know, and now you've discovered where all of that started. When you start on that discovery of self awareness, then going back to what I said before, being accountable, and accountability is going to require you to be honest with yourself that sometimes you are the problem.
honesty with yourself or honest with other people, what's harder for you?
I think honesty with yourself is going to be harder, because that's going to being honest with yourself is going to require you to it should require you to show up differently with other people. um you can lie to people. Now you're making me think, because you can lie to people, and they'll believe it. They don't know one way or
If
another.
you selling it, if you're selling it,
They don't know
girl.
one way or another. But and they'll tell you you can't lie to yourself, but I've seen people lie to themselves. I've lied to myself. you know I'm okay. I'm okay. Trying to make myself believe that I'm okay. No, I'm okay. No, really, I am. Girl,
Mm.
and it started young, because, like, for years I thought, you fainted. If I heard somebody fainted, you fainted. Oh, you must be weak. Like,
Oh,
yeah, in my mind, in
I
my
get it.
mind, in order to faint, you had to be weak. Like, who faints? You know,
Who the
until
fuck
I
would-
fainted.
until
Until I fainted. I was 47 years old, but I fainted. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't do this. Like, what's going on? But lying to myself that I was okay, until I had that humbling moment and ended up on the floor in my kitchen, laying with my head in my son's lap. You know,
mm,
that was that humbling moment for me, that you are not okay, sis. Sis, you are
mm,
not okay.
mm, mm. Um, Jesus. Yes. Easy, easy to, oh God, easy to lie to other people,
Uh-huh.
harder to be honest with yourself. So I guess we lying both ways. Like
Yeah.
how you do anything, how you do everything,
Yep.
just go lie to everybody.
Yeah.
And I have, like you, I have either with
Uh-huh.
fine or sure, yes, yeses. They
Yes.
Oprah and Iyanla. Now I'm gonna probably get it wrong. It's either a sacred yes and a holy no, or a holy yes and a sacred no.
Holy yes
But
and a sacred no
holy yes and a sacred no. Like you got to be clear on your yeses, but even more clear on
on
your
your
no.
nose. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not clear on your nose, that's when you start lying to yourself. You start
Yes. And to
so
others.
and to other people. You start to make yourself believe that you are fine in a situation that you're not really fine in. That the way you show up is okay because that's how I've always been.
Yeah.
That's what I've
And
always
doing
done.
things you don't want to do.
And then doing shit
Somebody calling on you to do something and you really
I don't
don't
want.
want to do it,
I don't
but you're
want to.
saying yes to it, or you want to say no, but you won't, or you want to say yes, that's what I want, but what I like it, but you won't admit it because you're protecting their feelings over your comforts of what you like, what you want to do. Um, and that's a part of the self-awareness where you realize you are entitled. You are deserving. And you
Hmm.
do yourself a disservice when you don't own your yes and your no's.
Hmm.
You do you and your partner and the person you're in friendship with a disservice. Because let me tell you, I was in HEB the other day. And
Child.
again, part of that awareness that now you can't unknow it. You can't go back. I'm standing in HEB looking at avocados, trying to pick, what I want. And the girl tells me, because I'm getting ready to come off this fast. And the girl walks up to me, and I'm actually in pain at the time too. So I don't even want to talk to this girl. But it was two young ladies from the bank in HEB that want to approach me and talk about the bank and da 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 da. So she says, "Hi." I said, "Hello." She says, "Do you have who do you bank with? Do you have a bank account with such and such and such and such?" And my immediate response was to lie to her and say, "Yes, I have an account." But I only said, "Yes, I have an account," because I thought you would stop there and leave me
Right.
alone. Like that
Right.
would just get you to go away, without, hurting your feelings or just, again, I'm hurting and I'm in here trying to just get these avocados and get out. And
All I want.
instead of me saying, no, I don't, and I'm not interested, because that would have been okay. No, and I'm not interested. But thank you. No, I'm not interested, but thank you.
Hmm.
Instead, I said, and this was nothing but God, I believe, showing me how the truth would have done. No, I don't have an account. No, I'm not interested. Will tell a lie when the truth will do, Talaya.
Well, tell a lie.
So I'm like, um, I immediately, I mean, when she said, "Do you have an account with us?" I said, "Oh yeah, I already have an account." And she said, "Oh, well, did you know that such and such and such?" And she went on. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, I didn't know that. But thank you. Thank you for that information. Well, do you have an IRA account with us?"
Oh my God.
And it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. And all the conviction is on me. Is on me.
Because you didn't
She
say
is
no.
not the problem. She's just doing her job. The problem was when she walked up to you and asked you if you had an account, you told her yeah,
Mm,
thinking that that would just get her away. And
mm.
instead, it it
Look
prolonged
at
this situation and conversation.
now,
So,
now look at you. Now look at you.
but immediately I got what I should have done. And you don't have to worry about me in another situation like that again. No, no. Sweetheart, I'm not interested. But
Yeah,
thank you.
no thank girl.
Yeah.
My
I said,
nose.
yes.
I, it was probably the most important lesson that I learned. I don't care what I awakened. I don't care what I acknowledged. I don't care what I took account for. The most powerful tool in that journey, handbox, that toolbox on that journey,
Mhm.
is the power of no. I'm not
Yes.
explaining no no's. We're not going any further after no. If you ask me again, you know what I don't know if this is right, but I'm gonna say it anyhow. So I raised two boys. They would be getting together to take themselves out at the on a weekend or whatever. Both their dad or I or both of us together, we would be setting the ground rules for when they would go out the door. Remember, don't get in the car with nobody who's drinking. Behave yourself, respect people, and most of all, because I had boys,
Mhm.
no means no.
Yes.
No means no.
Mhm.
And so now, if it's an encounter with a gentleman, and I'd be like, hey, thank you so much, but no thank you, and you persist upon that after that first no,
Mhm.
if I say no to you and you don't accept my no, and no means no,
Mhm.
what other no won't you accept?
Right.
Then they get offended. But I said no. I said
Yes.
no as nicely as I could.
Mhm.
Why would you even make me go there?
Yeah.
Because I didn't tell you no means no.
Yes. Yes.
No means no.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And please don't make me talk to you like that. Because I don't want to have to. I
I don't want to talk to you like that.
don't have to do it. I don't want to have to do it.
Right.
Um, yeah, crazy times, but yeah, that no is
But I'm
it.
I'm I'm learning. I'm learning in this journey that in this moment of self-awareness,
Hmm.
I'm learning what is required, you know, and just as honest as I'm being with myself, because um in being honest with myself, it's been enlightening, it's been painful, it's been
Mm.
exhausting.
Mm.
I've cried a lot. I've cried more this week. I've cried more this week, I think, than I've cried all of 2025.
My
Like,
God. My God.
um, it's like I've grown leaps and bounds in just like 2 weeks. And it's come from the acknowledgement and of what's being revealed to me, you know,
Hmm.
looking at the deeper issues within myself or situations within myself and realizing how those things impacted me. Things that happened as a child, as a teenager, as a young woman, how they left their imprint on me, and how I began to show up in life as an adult with those things having formed me, you know, having shaped me into somebody that I probably wouldn't have been if those things hadn't happened, you know, if those people hadn't impacted my life in the way that they did. So,
Mm.
uh,
Mm. That's a tremendous outlook.
yeah,
Like I want to tell you, that's a tremendous outlook because so many people want to be the victim,
uh huh, hmm.
and that don't sound like what you're doing. And mwah, chef's kiss. It really is because they don't just want to be the victim; they
uh
want
huh.
to stay victimized. It's
Mm.
to say that granddad did it, Uncle Jeff did it. Uncle Jeff is going to be famous one time. Sometime he in this. I don't even have an Uncle Jeff, but it's easier for them to sit in what they did
Uh huh.
versus okay, I'm grown now. And Uncle Jeff did that shit at 12.
Yeah.
What responsibility do I have now
Right. Right.
that I move on?
How
What?
long am I gonna allow what he did to control what I do?
Yep, yep. And some people never get past that point. They never
Yeah.
get past.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for that's a grand outlook. And I promise you,
Mhm.
keep it, and it will do leaps and bounds for you. Leaps,
Mhm.
because
Right.
if more, then how else would I have been?
Right. Right.
But because of you got me here,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
I'm going here. I'm not staying there. I'm not staying there at all. Then also, and I think we spoke about it a little bit over this week too. Like this, the process is overwhelming.
Yes. Yes.
It feels heavy. It is exhausting. Um, and it's okay for them to be all those things.
Mhm.
You are still Symphony. You are still your beautiful self. You are still being your most honest self. You are
Yeah.
still everything that it took to work through what you've been through to get where you are. You are still all of those things. So you don't get to beat up on yourself in this process.
Oh, no.
You
No.
don't get to do that.
No.
Awareness without self attack is
Yes.
what we'll call it.
Yeah.
It don't have to exist for the other to do. It is healthy to look in the mirror, talk to your star player, say, hey, guy, we might be a little off, but I know it's another way. We're gonna go find that other way. But don't be
Mhm.
just about anything that you actualize, anything that comes to you
Yeah, and beating
during.
yourself about anything you did in the past from before you were aware. I don't care if it was your awareness came yesterday, day before yesterday, last month, last year. Don't beat yourself up about the way I treated that person or the way I did that thing or the way I didn't love myself, when I was in this situation or that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
go punishing her, him, whoever you are. Don't go punishing yourself about past experiences because you were handling those situations in survival mode.
Hmm.
You were handling those situations from a space that was familiar to you, that felt safe for you, or that didn't feel safe for you. And that's how you responded when you didn't feel safe, because you're dealing with all of those issues from that traumatic, aspect.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing I think I shared with you is people people are going to, I don't want to say people are going to change, you are going to change.
Yeah.
And some people will not appreciate
Yeah.
that change.
Yeah.
Be okay with being a villain.
And be okay with being alone
Be okay
because
being alone.
yeah, learn how to be alone without being lonely. It's not lonely because you're with yourself. God is
Hmm.
with you. You're discovering things. Your things are showing up, and you're gonna have to do some work. You're gonna have to work through some things. It's gonna take a lot of thought, a lot of writing, a lot of
Be able to have that,
encountering.
you won't be able to have all that noise. That noise will
Mm-mm.
not be
Baby, there'll be
helpful.
enough noise inside your head
You say,
that you don't need the outside
no,
stuff. Yeah.
no,
Like
no.
this week, I've been rushing home to be alone. I come in and I just want to sit with myself and with God and everything around me, and align with this energy. Like just get into this space of energy. And I like it there. You know, I like it there. I like discovering who I would have been before the world touched me, before um before life began to life for me. Like who would I have been? We talked about my grandson this morning and how he is so pure and so free and that's where I feel like I'm arriving to that place of freedom, that place
Yeah,
of, oh God, like freedom. It feels freedom. Self-awareness is very freeing. That's what I can tell you that I
absolutely.
felt this week. It feels very freeing. he said to me yesterday, I said something to him and he goes to walk away from me and he's like talking under his breath. And I'm like, don't do that, speak up where you can be heard. And he says to me, TT, but what if it wasn't for you to hear? What if what I said wasn't meant for you to hear?
From the mouth of babes.
Oh,
Whole face. Whole face.
girl, gone. Like what? And that's the level I want to be like that, you know, where I'm not afraid to speak. I'm not
Mhm.
concerned. I'm not over analyzing the conversation that I'm going to have with an individual and have it 30 times in my head because I'm trying to control that person's response to what I
Mm,
say.
mm.
you know Let me just say it, and let me be intentional and tell you why I'm saying it, and then leave it up to you to decide how you gonna deal with it.
Guess what? You're only responsible for what you say.
Yeah,
Trying to do the other work for the other person and how they receive it is not going to always be sweet toned.
yeah.
It's not gonna always have a sugar coat on it.
Hmm.
But if it needs to be said, you say it. And like you
Yeah,
said, it up to them. Y'all do the dishes.
yeah,
Y'all do.
yeah. And it'll show you, self-awareness will make you more aware of others, because it'll show you in that conversation you've had with yourself, and then you have with that person that you may
Mm,
need to talk to or want to talk to. It'll show you them too. When you get to show up as your authentic self, you'll
yeah.
see whether they are just as authentic, or how they move after you have the conversation with them. Is she gonna treat me different? Is she gonna act different? Is she gonna move with me different because she, didn't agree with how I felt? But I just need to get it out so that, you could tell me, that's not what it was, or that's what it was, or whatever. Another thing that it was important to me, even when you and I have had conversations that may have been hard conversations, at least hard for
Yeah.
me. So when I come to you and I say, hey, Tasha, I need to talk to you about whatever. And this is, usually it comes in my past because of my unawareness. It came with a lot of, let me give you this disclaimer first,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I hope this will help you understand where I'm coming from and receive
Hmm.
me in the way that I'm coming to you, you know. Um, and then I'm trying to maneuver in the conversation, to let you know that I'm not, it's not malice, it's not malicious, or in any kind of way, but I want you to, but I still want to get my point across, you
Yeah.
know, without you getting mad. Again, me trying to control your feelings toward it. Like if you get mad, you get mad.
That's it.
You
And then we deal
disappointed,
with
you
that.
yeah. And then we'll deal with that when we deal with it. But I wasn't aware enough to do that
Mm.
until recently. Before my mind would have totally been on controlling your actions, Tasha,
Like how
controlling
she's going to feel on the other
rhythm,
side of
how you respond, you know, describe, yeah, how you respond to me.
and
That would have been the focal point.
I'll say the one thing that I regret, and I was 36 at the time, and I'm moving through this uncharted territory. So the one thing that I do regret at that time is that for the people who were closest to me at that time, that I didn't share that this was energy. It was not personal. This
Right.
was something I had to do for me. What ended up happening because I didn't do that on
Hmm.
the other side, when I had to start evaluating relationships and connections that could either stay
Hmm.
or they no longer serving me. It was a lot of, she's changed, she different, she think because she did. But if I would have shared with you when I was there what I was doing,
Yeah.
what my goal was, you may have felt differently if
Yes. Yes.
it had to sever because it was no longer. And I think I said to you, like, if the persons that you have to disconnect from, would
Uh-huh.
really, really, really look at the relationship as it was, could see themselves, could see me in those relationships, they realize that I probably wasn't serving them either, and that us
Mm.
is for the very best.
Yeah, that
Way
we were
you
probably
go
trauma bonding.
any damn way,
We
but
were probably trauma bonding.
I didn't have. For me, it was more okay. I came from this, and now I'm here. This doesn't work for me anymore. It was them no's. Them no.
Mhm.
Once they
Right,
showed me no, once you
right.
showed me no, I went on a spree with
Yes.
no's. I don't regret the no's. The only regret that I have is not having some of the necessary conversations leading up to the news.
Mhm, mhm.
The news had to be what they were. They had to be.
Yeah.
They had. Um, whew,
Mm.
this was very, very, very good conversation, and I'm glad that I was able to have it with you.
Yes,
Um,
me too.
that I want to encourage anybody who is in this space. Um, affirmations, check in with yourself daily.
Yes.
Ask yourself the important questions, like when you have a feeling, because most times our thoughts, what's going on in our minds, if they are not aligned with where we want to be or where we're trying to go, you will have a physical reaction to it.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that you're checking in with yourself daily, asking, what you're projecting, what emotion are you avoiding, what
Mhm.
truth you may be dancing around. Um,
Yes.
awareness ain't allowed, but it's definitely, absolutely consistent. Once
Yes.
I always say, if you don't get a hold of life,
Life.
life is going to get a hold to your ass.
Right.
And you usually want to get it sooner than later, because
Yeah.
sooner
Yeah.
the control of the path. But once it get on your ass, you got to go where it's going to take you. You arrive to the same destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt. One ride just a little bit more bumpy than the other.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ooh, you gonna get into some Asher Pass today?
Yes. Yes. Let's get into it. So, you want me to start?
You got them.
Okay. Asher Pass. That's just how I am.
You know what? I'm not gonna have no comments. I'm just gonna say pass.
It's
Absolute
a hard pass.
hard pass
It's
for
a
me.
hard pass. You can't just no. That no longer serves you.
And no
It no
longer
longer
serve.
serves me. Being triggered means you're weak. Asher pass.
I am going to pass that.
Mhm.
I'm going to pass that, and I might give a bit of an explanation.
Go ahead.
Some people don't even know what triggers are, right? So
Mhm.
when things continue to happen to them and almost a repeating way.
Mhm.
It was another word I wanted to use, but I can't
Mhm.
escape me right now. But and you're reacting to it. You're reacting to it because it's happening
Yeah.
at the same, maybe the same time of month, the same time of day, the same time of the year. It's happening,
Yeah.
and you don't know what it is, so you can't identify it. So being triggered is sometimes inevitable.
Yeah.
Once you learn what makes you tick, when you're more aware of what
Okay.
makes you tick.
Yeah.
But in either scenario, it doesn't make you weak. Like that's crazy.
I think though I'd like to argue that maybe it is a weakness. Maybe
Mhm.
it is a weakness in the foundation.
Mm, mm,
That because you're triggered could let you know that that's a place you need to examine. Why
okay.
did that trigger me? Why did that bother me? Why did I respond in that way? Why did that make me angry? Why did that make me so sad?
Okay.
And if you go down looking for the why, you may find out that that's a place that now you can begin to build up that foundation because
Yeah.
you recognize what was wrong, you recognize the weakness, you can start to unpack some things and repack with something more solid to where
Okay.
there's a foundation fixed there. And now
Okay.
that area is no longer an area of weakness for you. Maybe that
I
trigger,
like that.
if a weakness was a sign that you need to be strengthened in that area. You need to become strong in that area. So,
I
but if
like
you
that.
don't, you can't become strong without understanding what the problem is. Let's go fix the problem.
Absolutely.
So, self-awareness changes you. I'm sorry, self-awareness changes how you apologize.
Oh, absolutely, Ash. That absolutely. Like
Ask
I,
that.
I, I was the queen of my bad.
Mhm.
In fact, before I even got to the my bad, it wasn't a thing that I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that I did. Like I could absolutely have bad behavior
Mhm.
toward other people,
Mhm.
and I am so surprised people stayed in relationship with me as long as that. I'm telling you, as
Right.
long as that, because I've
You might have to
had bad
call them people up and say, "Thank you for staying in relations with
tonight.
me."
Tonight, I'm doing
Thank
it
you to
tonight.
them people.
Thank you
Yeah.
to the people. So absolutely, Ash, that.
And I would, it does. I agree. I'll ask that as well because not only it does change the way you apologize because it changes what you apologize for.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because sometimes you need to be unapologetic. Sometimes I'm not going to apologize for how I feel, what I thought, what I meant by what I said. I'm standing on business. So it'll definitely change that. Something as simple as the other day, um, I got in, I bumped into someone in the grocery store, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I immediately said, "Sorry," like it was a mistake. So I went on and said, "No, um, I wasn't." Maybe that was not a good example, but I
I think you
sometimes
ended up excusing yourself versus
excuse
saying
me. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Because I'm like it wasn't intentional, so I'm not
No,
sorry, but
no.
um yeah, that self-awareness changes the way you apologize because sometimes apologies aren't necessary. Like I'm not apologizing for who I am. I'm unapologetically, and I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, and that's that on that.
Said what I
So
said. God damn.
everyone needs access to the real you.
So I think this is sort of for me, it raises
Mhm.
sort of a trick question, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
vulnerabilities, no, everybody don't need to have access to that.
right.
But who you are at your core, everybody need to understand that because
Uh huh.
it affects how people deal with you in relationship. And if you think I'm a toy, you're gonna play with me.
Right, right.
But if you think
Yeah.
I'm a pit bull, you're gonna be a little bit more cautious.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
somewhere in between a toy and a pit bull. But I want everybody to know that part of me.
Yeah.
Like that exterior. But what's inside of me,
Uh-huh.
um, the things that I like, let's say the conversations that you and I have, like not everyone is going to get that. And
Right.
that's okay.
I think for me, everyone needs access to the real me. Yeah. Everyone needs access to the real me, but everyone can't have access to all of me.
I like it.
You
I
can't have
like
access to all of me, but every ounce of me is real. Every ounce of me is genuine. Every ounce of me is 100%. So you going to get all of me.
hmm
Everyone can get the real me. Everyone can have access to the real me, but you just can't have access to all of me.
I like that. I like that a
That's
lot.
my that's my ash and pass on it. Growth requires discomfort.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
can't grow in comfort.
No, they call it growing pains for a reason.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, I wish there was another way for this process to run that may not hurt as bad, that may not cause you to think as much, that would cause you to feel less. I wish there was another way. I truly do. Because I feel like
Mhm,
everybody would do it if there were another way.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
this road ain't for the weak. You are not weak. You can absolutely do this, but there is some discomfort associated, and you got to be okay with it.
Right, right, right. So that's the end of our Ash and Pass or Asher Pass. Self awareness doesn't make you better than anyone else, it makes you responsible, right? Responsible for your actions, responsible for your patterns, responsible for what you carry into rooms with others. And that's the truth. The truth is, most people don't fear change. They
Mm.
fear what they'll have to admit once they see clearly. So sit with that. This has
Mm.
been Ashes and Influence. We'll catch you when the smoke clears.
See y'all.